What's up, guys? Welcome back. As you can see, we got the allroad in here. This is my winter beater, and the rear brakes are pretty shot on this, so got to get this done before the snow hits. So we're gonna make a video on how to replace the entire rear brake setup after the brake lines. So caliper, carrier, pads, rotors, the whole 9 yards. So you guys will be able to see how we do that. And let's see, we've accumulated some other projects while we were gone, and we will eventually get to those after we finish organizing this disaster. We have a mess all over the place, so it's got to get organized. Just taking some time. Moving and organizing takes some time. But yeah, if this video helps you guys out or you guys like it, please like. If you want to comment, subscribe would be awesome, because that helps the algorithm on YouTube and it'll push it to other viewers. We'd like to be able to get more people on our channel, so if you could do that, that would be awesome. All right, let's get to it. I guess if you want to come in. I don't know how the lighting is for the camera, but I can move this light quick. So this car's been through a few New York winters. It's a little rusty. Calipers are pretty much frozen, and figured I'd like to just get a new one and not worry about any issues soon. And rotor's pretty shot. Pads aren't too bad, but we're just gonna replace them anyways because we're already in here. And let's get to it, I guess. So we got 2 bolts in the back here that hold the carrier on. We've already loosened them, got them broke free, so it wouldn't take too long on the video. Those are size 8mm Allen head, so that's what you need to take those carrier bolts out. And let's see, we decided to keep it all together because the whole thing's coming off anyways. So really, you don't need to remove, if you're doing what we're doing, you don't need to remove the caliper from the carrier. These are size 13 bolts back here if you did want to take the caliper off, which you'd need to if you wanted to do just the pads. So the brake line is already loose, and we had issues. If you could see there, the brake fluid that's in there, it was leaking brake fluid everywhere. So right now I currently have like no brakes in this car. That's why we're doing this job. So we're gonna take this off. Let's see. Should be a 13. And we'll get that guy off of there. The calipers I got came with a new banjo bolt and new copper washers. So there's that, and then, man, it doesn't want to let go of that rotor. Okay, so your e-brake cable you're gonna have to remove as well. That has a clip in there. I should have grabbed the pliers, hold on. Alright, so we just got this piece out here. It was stuck, pretty much frozen against the bracket back here. We just had to break it free. It was stuck in there pretty good. It just holds the cable in place. Now we got it out. Set off to the side. You're gonna need it later for when we put it back together. Let's see. We gotta take the spring off of here. Should be able to close this. I can do this a little easier with. Push it in. There's probably an easier way to do this, but this is just how I've done it.
Yeah, we are not professionals by any means.
Oh, I should probably get a new cable. Yeah. That cable's pretty shot. All right, we're back. E-brake gave us a little bit of trouble. Turns out the e-brake is no good. gonna have to replace that, but for now I'm just gonna set it off to the side. We're not gonna hook that back up. I'll get cables later, but I don't want to have this car stuck in here until I can get new cables. So we're gonna put everything else together and just leave it off to the side. I already cleaned up the hub and everything. I coat the crap out of these usually with anti-seize if I'm gonna be using it in the winter time, because if you live in New York, you know, these things rust. All cars rust real bad. So I coat it with anti-seize to help rotors come back off easier. So here's a new rotor. Make sure it's the same size as the old one. Usually when you order rotors for these things, there's two different sizes you can get. It's either bigger or smaller. Just make sure you figure out which one is on your car, because I have had it where the old wagon I bought, it was a B6 A4 wagon. Somebody had done the rear brakes on it and they ordered the smaller rotors, and let's see what the pad is. Basically, to give you an idea, the rotor was smaller, the pad was the right size, so the pad sat like this. And when it wore down, it wore part of the pad, and then obviously the part that wasn't touching the rotor would stay there, and the pads ended up touching each other. They ended up meeting each other, so there was really no rear brake strength, because they were just pressing against each other. So just make sure you get the right size rotors, and let's get back to it. So we'll start by throwing the rotor on here, on the hub. Now, as you can see, if you just sit it there, it kind of just wants to flop around. So usually if you can slide something over your wheel bolt, these washers actually fit just kind of snug right in that spot. So what you do is just line it up, thread it in there. Doesn't have to be super snug. All it's got to do is hold that in place. See, it's just holding it there. Now it'll be a lot easier when you go to put your carrier on there. You're not going to be fighting your rotor and your carrier at the same time. So let's get it threaded in here. There are two. These are 8mm. Again, these are 8mm bolts for the carrier. Impact, you know, hand me an impact. Thank you. Didn't we get that one with the wobble socket before?
Sure.
I don't remember.
I think it's the first time we've taken them off this car.
Oh. I can't get the right angle with that on here.
It was snug.
I don't know how many foot-pounds it's supposed to be, but tight is tight. Too tight's broke. Remember that. All right, carrier's on. Next is, should probably get that brake line attached to the new caliper. Let's hold on to these. These are gonna go here. Set those here. All right, so this is where the banjo bolt's gonna be getting attached to. If you see this pin right here, that's your locator for your banjo bolt. Lines it up, or your banjo fitting, I should say. Lines it up, it's just gonna be just like that. But this way. It'll fit on there just like that. Okay, so if you watched our power steering pop video, you know how we put banjo bolts together. You got two washers. One's gonna go on the back side, one's gonna go on the inside, like this. Just like that, if you can see. So that it's sealed on both ends. the right angle here. There, it's starting to go. Let me just crank it on there before I forget. Do you have a socket for that? Already right here. Yeah.
You give the final torque once it's bolted in.
Yeah. Okay. I don't think I have the 10 mil over here. Remember to put something away. Usually I leave it out.
He's learning proper tool etiquette.
Wow. That sucker's on there. Alright, I'll open that 8er after. Once I get that on there. Okay, pads. Let's throw the pads on here. So our kit, the brake kit came with some grease. This is meant specifically for brakes. Let's see. Usually I'll throw them on the contact surfaces where the pads sit. So if you see, the brakes rub like this, in and out. So you want to cover on the contact surfaces. Doesn't have to be pretty or anything. Just get it on there.
As long as it's not everywhere.
Yeah, you don't want to get it on the pad itself. You want that pad to stay clean. And you don't want it to get it on the rotor either. As long as it's in the contact surfaces for where the pad's gonna slide, you're good. Hopefully we have some really nice music playing while doing this. Okay. Pads are where they need to be. Now we can put the caliper back on there. Alright, so see these little spring guys? That's gonna fight you a little bit when you're pushing down on the caliper. But push these in. If you didn't see those guys down here, that's what goes in and out for your caliper. Take your, what is this, 13 mil bolts. Thread those in. They already came with Loctite. Like I said, you're going to be fighting the spring tension that are on their pads. So get one side in and then push it in on the other. You're going to need your 13, and the inside ones here for your sliders are 15s. So get your 15 on there, and ooh, we got a ratcheting wrench. I had to think about it for a second. All right, caliper, carrier, pads, rotors, all new. Dust shield we ripped off because it was rotted and kind of just falling apart anyways.
Now we just gotta bleed it.
Yep.
And then we're done. And you repeat everything on the other side.
Yes, and we're gonna crack this open.
Right now, snug.
Yeah, it was. You want me to take it out all the way, or just leave it?
Just
cracked?
finger loose.
Alright, yep. Now we're gonna bleed it. Alright, you want me to pump, or?
Yeah, you should be able to do it with the car running or not running. Either way will work fine. But what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna go to the front of the car. Make sure your brake fluid is topped off, which we'll do now. Which one is it?
I'm gonna not turn the car on, just because if I turn it on, the air ride's gonna level out.
There. That's full for now. And what's gonna happen is he's gonna get in the driver's seat. And I'm gonna tell him to press the brake to create pressure, and then he's gonna hold it, and I'm gonna open the bleeder, and it's gonna release the air and fluid, and then I'm gonna close it, and then he's gonna pump it again. So. All right, right now I got it closed, and he's gonna pump it. All right, now he's gonna hold the pedal to the floor as I open this.
Right to the floor.
The air came out. I don't know if you guys can hear that. So I close it up again. All right, hold it. And we got fluid. All right. Now let's close, do it again. All right, hold it. Well, that looks like straight fluid. So this is done, but I'm assuming there's air elsewhere. So that's all bled and done. Put your tire back on. We'll do the e-brake cable later. I suppose that's how you do it.
Another thing, when you're bleeding your brakes, you want to start from the furthest away from your brake booster. So that would be your passenger rear. We're just doing this because that line had been leaking for a while and it was completely dry. So we wanted to we're already in here, we wanted to bleed it. But really what you should do is start from the passenger rear because it's the furthest away. Then do your driver's rear, do your passenger front, and then your driver's front. That way the air works its way out from the furthest end of the line. And any other tips? I guess we'll just cut it here. Like you said, like Cody said, same exact thing on the other side. We'll get back to the e-brake cable later. We're gonna throw the wheel on, blah, 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 and we're all done. If you guys made it this far at the end of the video, thank you, you guys are awesome. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, anything that all helps the algorithm so we can get out there to more people, and that would be awesome. Thank you, and we'll see you guys again soon.